corn, not corn, I'm sorry, wheat and the like. But I think you're in good shape. If you've got a 15-year-old plant, love it, take pictures of it, and enjoy.
And, Greg, thanks so much for the call this morning. Still room for you on the program at 1-866-PLANT-TALK with 2 T's or 1-866-752-6882. Remember, if you ever miss one of our programs, you can listen to it again on our website, which is planttalkradio.com, or you can go to iTunes and subscribe to our podcast as well. More from Fred up next.
This summer at Franklin Park Conservatory and Botanical Gardens, the gardens are in full color. Walk amidst tropical and native butterflies in flight in the indoor Pacific Island Water Garden. View the conservatory's bonsai collection and experience the exhibition Origami in the Garden. Find details at fpconservatory.org.
And welcome back to the program. And, Fred, we have another caller. Good. So let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning. You're on Plant Talk. Who's this?
Sam.
Hi. How can we help you this morning?
I was redoing an iris bed.
Okay.
And I noticed the tubers had grubs or worms in them. Yep. I mean, pretty good-sized worms. I dug them out, but I'm wondering what causes this, and is there any way to control this in the future?
Yes, to both. This is not an uncommon problem in iris. There is a creature that flies up, lays eggs right in the leaf division, several inches above the ground, anywhere up to maybe even 10 inches above the ground, where the leaves are kind of unfolding from each other. The worm that hatches eats its way down between those leaves into that rhizome and just raises cane with it. I've seen them hollowed out to a skeletal structure. I've seen ends eaten off, etc. So it is a living critter. I'm going to be pressed right now to tell you on the timing, but you'd want to use an insecticide. I'm going to say early summer, and I'm afraid I can't help you there, but the garden center can help you. You spray it to stop the adult creature from living long enough to lay the eggs and so on. Now, what you then have done is the right thing. You get those up out of the ground, you dig out the borers, the borers, pitch those, even throw away some of the terribly underprivileged rhizomes, and then replant. And this is, you could have been doing this for 2 weeks. You can do it probably for 2 more, but I would say sooner is better at this point in time. And then when you plant them back, it's like looking at a turtle and the surface of the water, where you're seeing that top 10% sticking above the water as it swims or puddles along. You want a rhizome on an iris to show the same. Go for it. Prepare the soil, but don't plant them too deep. Having dug out the borers, you're starting clean, but there will probably be a buildup in your area, your neighborhood, your garden, whatever. I'd be ready to use an insecticide next early summer. And I hope I'm right on that. My memory is only so good. But at the same time, it is manageable. And then at the same time, usually every 3 to 5 years, it's good to dig the iris, dig out the borers, throw them away, and start over just to renew the bulbs. So you're right on track.
And Sam, thanks so much for the call. Let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning. You're live on Plant Talk. Who's this? And it looks like we lost the caller.
We lost a caller.
Yeah,
That's
we lost
too bad.
the caller there. Fred, talk a little bit about your birds and your hummers.
Well, I have had 2 days of beautiful weather at my house, and I'm delighted with that. It's the time of year. We are certainly ready for something like this. This morning it was even cool and clear, brilliant sunshine. All this good stuff is wonderful. Now then, that caused me to sit down on the patio for a little bit, read the Reader's Digest, catch up on a few things. And while I was sitting there, I was watching a 3 to 5 ring circus, literally. I'm going to call it 10 feeding stations, some for the hummingbirds, some with this kind of thing, that kind of thing, some suet blocks, etc. There was constant motion in my yard. And the one thing that I'm watching right now, because I made such a terrible mistake some years ago, I thought if I quit feeding the hummingbirds, they would know to leave. No, the big bad deal. They are trying to fatten up. Imagine a 16th of a gram of fat on a hummingbird. But at the same time, they're trying to get enough nourishment right now, especially the males. They usually leave first. And they're trying to load up right now so they can get to the Gulf and then eventually load up, reload, and fly across the whole Gulf at times. They will know when to leave. Let Mother Nature take care of that. They are, so to speak, hardwired for temperature changes and all the things that happen in the fall. And such a pleasure, because I still have, I think, 2 males fighting with each other over some of the same feeders, and there are 5 feeders. They just want to be alienating each other. But in any event, this time of year, do try to kick back, especially on these wonderful days. You don't have to be on a golf course. You can be in your own backyard or a park or whatever, and just enjoy what's happening out there, has been for millions of years, one form or another, and hopefully will for that long again.
Fred, Greg called back,
okay,
and he had another question about his azaleas.
Okay.
He's the lucky guy that actually has them growing in Ohio.
Yeah, right.
He said he actually had 2 of them, but he wanted to know if there's a way to take a start off of an azalea plant.
Well, the answer is yes. Nurserymen do it all the time. They take cuttings. I am not a propagator. I've paid attention, but I certainly don't know the art and science, and a significant part of the science, to regenerating plants. I know azaleas can be grown by cuttings, the same as other plants. I'm going to suggest to Greg that he would wait until spring, and just after the newest growth, and maybe right at the end of the flowering time, where new shoots are coming out, cut some of those shoots, keeping the leaves on them, and get right down into the base of that tissue, that is that new stem, and put those in a sand mix, and this would be builder's sharp sand so that it will drain and so on. It will support them upright, and then it will hopefully be a rooting medium. Now, that's the ones that we'll call soft cuttings right in the end of the flowering time, I would expect. I'd have to go to my friend, old student and fantastic horticulturist Michael Durr to get me details on that. But then I would go the next time at about 5-6 weeks later, early summer, before midsummer, and take hardwood cuttings, which simply means the tissue in the stems will be more woody. Do the same process of sticking them in sand, half an inch or an inch deep. Put them in a shady spot in behind some shrubs around the house, whatever. And you can do this. Now, there also is a library full, as well as a computer full, of information on propagation, where you can get more details on that.
Once again, you can always email Fred a question at any time. Just send it to our website, which is planttalkradio.com. Just click on the Ask Fred button. And, of course, we'd love for you to check out our Facebook page as well. Fred's to-do list. That's coming up next on Plant Talk. Stick with us.
This summer at Franklin Park Conservatory and Botanical Gardens, the gardens are in full color. Walk amidst tropical and native butterflies in flight in the indoor Pacific Island Water Garden. View the Conservatory's bonsai collection and experience the exhibition Origami in the Garden. Find details at fpconservatory.org.
All right, there are lots of things to do. I mentioned kicking back a little bit and enjoying. A day like today, just please take a minute at least, if not longer. Or if you have the tickets, go sit in the stadium, or keep the windows open while you're watching telly at the game, all that kind of stuff. Now, as Melinda and I chatted, do continue to water. Not often, but water deep. Every 3 weeks we'll do it, and I mean a darn good soaking. The excess will drain away and go on from there. Now, as transplanting and as planting go, it's time to, let's just say pick a spot for a new plant or a division from an old one. Prepare the soil. Have that all done, and then when you bring home the plant, or you dig it and divide it, you get it into the ground, no drying of the root system and so on, and etc. It's still time to put a hurt on the violets, dandelions, plantain, sedge, etc. You got to hurry right now. But a lot of times in the fall, when plants are manufacturing food, of course, and taking it to their own root zone, crown, etc., they will take a weed killer down with it. And that, oh yeah, I like to hear them moan. But at the same time, you may not see the violet die in the fall. It depends on a lot of things. But if you get a shot or two of weed killer into it, it just may not show up again next spring. And that's when we shout, hallelujah!
You got that right. For Fred Howard, the Ohio Nurseryman, I'm Mark Noose. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next week for another edition of Plant Talk Radio.
Plant Talk is sponsored by Franklin Park Conservatory and Botanical Gardens, fpconservatory.org. If you have a question for Fred for a future show, go to our Facebook page and ask away. We value your comments about the show, so please tell us what you think by writing a review on iTunes. This helps others find out about Plant Talk. You can find out more about Plant Talk on our website at planttalkradio.com.